We are right on every issue. The Democrats are wrong on every issue. That's why they frantically cling to abortion as their only issue that they think may work for them. In some cases, it has demonstrated that it does. But I think part of the problem is that we surrender and we default to the media narrative, the left narrative. This is a loser for us. The Democrats are extreme on abortion.
That is Representative Bob Good. And like every other Republican, whether in elected office, a commentator, whatever, like you have to respond to the fact that once again, the voters rejected your position on abortion, on reproductive rights and general topics like that. They simply don't agree with you. Now, that should not come as a surprise to anyone because going back 50, 60 years, the American public has not agreed with these ghouls, with these goblins. But we are now at least seeing it not just in polls, but acted out in state after state where they continue to lose. But that said, like so many of the other Republicans, Representative Bob Good does not believe that they should back down. He actually has a strategy. Take a look at this.
We need to be unflinchingly, unapologetically pro-life. I think when you have moderation, you have tepid, vanilla, benign statements on the issue of life. You're trying to talk about 15-week bans that only affect less than 10% of abortions. I think what that does is that demotivates our base. It's not inspirational. It depresses or suppresses a turnout in red states, and it leads to us losing elections, quite frankly. We need to be bold and aggressive and paint with bright red colors on this issue.
The imagery of painting with bold red colors, he said, just like when you think about the actual stakes in this and what happens to people under the legal system that they want to set up when it comes to reproductive health, I would phrase that differently, but they love the color red. They love our country being painted in more and more red. But anyway, like so many others, Ida, he believes that there is some way for them to win on this issue, not by being more understanding or talking to the people that are affected by these laws, but just being more extreme, more radical in the way that they talk about this. No moderation is what he said. What do you think?
Of course, the Handmaid's Tale, they want this to be Gilead. What I think is that they should be bold about homelessness, bold about drug addiction in those red states that have there's a high connection of drug use and homelessness in those states. They like to always point to New York and California when they're talking about homelessness, and homelessness is directly connected to a lot of addiction. These veterans that come back that we spit on, that we don't take care of, these VAs that are, inconsistent. You're talking about libraries that have books that kids have to go check out books so that they can get information from school. And those are the kids that are being pushed with initiative because they don't have they don't have the books that they need in schools. Teachers don't have supplies. I'm at the dollar store. I go to the dollar store. I see a teacher buying her own supplies for her class, and I paid for it because I was like, this don't make no damn sense. I'm so mad that my tax dollars are not helping you do what you need to do. So I'm going to do what I need to do here. This is what you should be bold about instead of trying to control women's bodies. It's such a fascination that it's almost perverted to hear the preoccupation and obsession with this issue that has to do with health, with women's health. And you don't see that type of fervor when it comes to, prison reform, education, healthcare, the things that people are affected by on a daily basis. Because how many people do you know are having abortions every day? Not everybody, but people do need healthcare, and you don't see that type of fight for it. And then dummies who continue to support these people who are suffering are still standing behind them. And it is so frustrating.
100%. And so many of those issues that you brought up, if you really cared about life and how sacred life is, these are issues that you have to care about. And yet so many do not, particularly the elected ones. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.